Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cars LLC Garage Incorporated since 2018. And on today's video, we'll be discussing about something off topic. We'll be talking about aftermarket parts. And here's an example. Pair O2 sensors, both for the same vehicle. Customer came in with a 2001 Toyota Camry. I think that's the 4-cylinder. Yep, 4-cylinder. So he wanted me to, among other jobs he wanted me to do, he wanted me to replace this O2 sensor. I'm like, okay, sure, no problem, because I'm sure it's pretty old. He wanted to get it done. Nothing was wrong with it originally, but he just wanted it done for maintenance purposes. I'm like, okay, cool. So he gives me his part. Some no-name brand I never heard of, Pro-Choice. Okay, whatever, I'm going to install it anyways, because he wanted me to do so. He's a good customer of mine. So, in eventuality, I end up installing this one. But we'll get back to that in a minute, but first let me explain. So when I installed this thing, and I got everything all together, buttoned up, ready to go, started it up, and guess what? In 1 minute time, boop, check engine light came on. I'm like, okay, let me put my scan tool on. What is it about? Oh, turns out to be an O2 sensor failure. I'm like, wait a minute, you gotta be kidding me. And I believe this is the downstream O2 sensor, yeah, that's what it was. And so, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me clear the code. Let's start it up again. And guess what? Came back out in a minute again. I'm like, wow. So I go back down there, check the connector to see if anything's wrong. Looks good. I'm like, okay, the connector's fine, snug, tight, everything's fitted, fine. So I'm like, what could be causing this? So I pull the terminal back out of there. This is a 4-pin connector. Went to the original source where it connects to. Looked on my schematic scheme. 4 wires, what they indicate is reference, ground, and 2 powers, I believe. So one's for the heater element, and that was the code for it. It was a heater element that was not working. So I back probed my test light. Turns out I got power and ground all the way around, and also got a reference using my DVOM. I'm like, okay, so on the computer end, or where it goes to, it's fine. So this must mean this O2 sensor is absolutely garbage. And so I decided to make the call. Got this a good known brand, a Denso unit, plugged it in, and guess what? Check engine light went bye-bye. Well, what does that tell you? Aftermarket garbage like this is not worth buying, even if you're going to save a few dollars. I mean, this could be like 20 bucks, whatever it is, and this may be 50 bucks, but guess what? You're not going to experience a comeback with this one compared to this one. So, just pointing that out to you. Now, again, not always the case. Well, I've had actual good known brand names go bad, but that's few and far between. But now here in 2021, things are starting to change. Some of these parts are no longer made in quality. They are actually made in companies like Bangladesh, Korea, China, of course. And guess what? The quality starts going. And so because of that, this is starting to be less and less reliable. It makes this side even worse. But this side is going to start depleting, and then guess what? We're going to run into comebacks at some point in time. You'll see it. It's just sad to see that this is what's come down to. AC Delco, I've noticed, is definitely going that route. They actually will have a part built in 2 locations and then have it assembled here in America. Why would you do that is beyond me. I mean, I've been in the parts business for quite a while now. I was a parts counter guy. I was also a parts guy, a delivery driver for a parts company, and also did inventory for a company. And I worked for an engine company as well that we deal with parts when we install them. So I've already seen this more than enough times that this is starting to happen. It's sad to say that I'm going to end up dealing with this more down the road than ever. It's just, it's just changing at times where corporations just want to be cheap about everything. It's sad. Because as they say, back in the day, they don't build them like they used to, they say, So it's just sad to see this is happening. But so I just wanted to point it out to you. So think about it when you're going to be doing something like this. Always stick with the OE. Especially when it's a newer vehicle, stick with the OE, please. It makes you not to pay as much more. It makes it easier for me to just deal my job and get your car out as soon as possible. All right, that's it for now.